Wow. I haven't hit that button in a while. It's been a while since I've pulled out this equipment. It actually took me a long time to set up, okay? So for those of you who are joining me on this video, I welcome thee, I thank thee. I want to catch you guys up on where I've been for the last 7 months. So if you're new to my channel and you haven't seen me make a video in a while, I apologize. Your girl was going through some things. A lot has changed, and I'm going to update you guys all in this video today. I have so much to talk about. I have so much exciting news that I'm excited to talk about as well. Updates to the channel, videos that I have planned, because you know I'm a little backed up. Not gonna lie, I'm definitely a little backed up when it comes to like ideas. Let's just kind of back things up. So the last time you guys saw me, like I said, was about 7 months ago. I was 5 months pregnant and I was going through it. You guys couldn't tell, but at that mark, the last video you guys seen, it was my mood board video, which you guys really wanted to see. So if you haven't actually watched that latest video, the video before this one, go ahead and watch that video. I had changed around my living room, got new furniture. I loved the aesthetic. I love how it came out, and I just wanted to walk you guys through the process of how I did that. So that video is really informative. So go check that out if you haven't seen it. Now, from that point, like I mentioned, I was 5 months pregnant in my second trimester of pregnancy, and it was rough. So I kind of want to go through what made me step away from YouTube for a while, why I had to step away from YouTube for a while, and why I'm excited to be back, and so many new things happening that I finally get to tell you guys about. So sneak preview for what we're going to talk about later, I'm actually moving. And for those of you guys who've been with me from the jump, I've been in this apartment for 8 years. So, and I'm actually moving in a couple weeks. And I have not touched a thing. I have not packed a thing. I have a little bit of anxiety now that I have a 3-month, about to be 4-month-old. We have a lot to do, and we're intermittently homeless. We'll talk about that. But to get serious with you guys, I do want to talk about some of the things that made me step away from YouTube. Mentally, I was going through it. Pregnancy is one of the hardest things I have ever been through in my life, like literally. Unfortunately, I didn't get to experience the joyous parts of pregnancy for the most of my pregnancy. There was no glow, there was no maternity shoot, there was no me being seen whatsoever. So I had mentioned to you guys before that when I was 5 months pregnant, my eczema was flaring up because of the pregnancy, and it was really rough. I was very itchy, my skin was very dry. From that point on, it kind of took a turn for the worse. My skin got really, really bad, really dry. Trigger warning, I'll probably insert some photos, some videos, just to give you guys an idea of what I was going through, why I couldn't be seen on camera, why I really couldn't even get out the bed. I was just miserable. I had eczema, like I said, my skin was really dry. And then it kind of turned into something called PUPS, which is something that I've never heard about in pregnancy. PUPS stands for Puritic Uretical Papules and Plaques. I probably butchered that name. That's why they call it PUPS for short, okay? It's little bumps that kind of appear all over your body. They become super, super itchy. You want to rip your skin off. I wouldn't wish this type of pain on my worst enemy. I would bleed in the bed every night just from scratching my skin. My skin on my face and my hair and my scalp was peeling like in chunks. I actually went to the hospital because I was so concerned with the state of my skin and the irritation. I couldn't shower. It felt like I was being stabbed millions of times, over and over. It's kind of, I said I wasn't gonna cry. It's kind of like PTSD, because it kind of takes away from the hope of having more children in the future, because that experience was so traumatic. Shit. That experience was so traumatic. It was so painful. I couldn't even, anytime I move, my skin would hurt. Anytime I would shower, my skin would burn. It always felt like somebody took sandpaper and just kind of rubbed it all over my skin and just like opened the pores and really just scratched and tore my skin apart. Obviously, there was not much that the doctors could do because my baby was healthy. Thank God for that. So we couldn't risk giving me any kind of medication that would potentially harm my baby. Yeah, so I had to struggle especially from 5 months. Also, I had nausea really, really bad. My first trimester, I was throwing up on a regular basis, like a lot. Finally subsided in my second trimester, but my skin issues picked up severely. I just remember I went on a baby moon. We tried to go out to the Poconos, and I just remember crying that whole day. And we actually had to leave the trip early because that altitude in the air and the snow and everything just wasn't doing anything great for me skin-wise. So I had to leave. I've been to so many doctors throughout my pregnancy, dermatologists, nutritionists, my OBGYN. I've went from OBGYN to OBGYN to OBGYN just to try and find somebody who can kind of relate to me, especially being a Black female. Our skin conditions look a lot different on our skin or my skin than it may on a fairer skin person. So I needed somebody who really understood that. So yeah, there was no coming on camera because my face was flaking off. There was no going out and hanging out or taking maternity pictures because I didn't feel pretty. I didn't feel beautiful, and I honestly wasn't comfortable. Anytime I moved in my skin, it felt like it was ripping apart. That's kind of where I was. And then I went into labor. I kept begging people to induce me early because I was that uncomfortable. Plus, the uncomfortable things you go through during your third trimester was bad enough, coupled with my skin. Like, I was begging doctors to induce me as early as and safely as possible to give me relief and to get my son here. But nobody would. But by the grace of God, I went into labor 3 weeks before my actual due date. So my son came at 37 weeks. My water broke here. But yeah, that was painful. I was not going natural. That was never a part of the plan. I wanted to be as comfortable as possible after being as miserable as I was for the last 8 months, 9 months at that point. The delivery process was kind of traumatic as well. It was never a thought in my mind that I would undergo a C-section. My body was progressing fairly well. My water broke, obviously, which apparently that only happens to like 2 to 8% of women. Actually, they're water breaking before they get to the hospital. So my body was doing what it was supposed to do. I was dilating, my water broke. I was going through contractions. You know, it's funny. I woke up that day before my water broke and I was like, let me clean the house. I feel like I can clean the house because we're getting closer and closer to my delivery date, and the last thing I want is my house to be a mess. Sure enough, later that afternoon, after I came back from my doctor's appointment, my water broke. I was progressing. I asked for an epidural right away. Nobody talks about the epidural experience, like standing still with your back hunched, trying to get a needle placed in that they say could possibly paralyze you for the rest of your life while you're receiving contractions is actually kind of crazy if you think about it. Because my water had broke, they kind of wanted to speed along the process. One thing I didn't want in my delivery process was Pitocin. They gave me Pitocin for a short amount of time. I really didn't want it. They insisted that I needed it because my water broke and I couldn't risk infection if the process was taking too long, which I really feel like it wasn't because I had just got there. But they gave it to me. And that literally took a turn for the worse. My son's heart rate was going up and down, skyrocketing, plummeting from 60 to 200. It was just never stable. So they took me off for Pitocin an hour later, and I continued to dilate on my own. And I dilated to 10 centimeters by myself. At this point, I think I had been in labor for about 12 hours or so. 12 hours, and we tried to push, but the heart rate from the Pitocin, literally, his heart rate just kept dropping and I was unable to push my son out naturally. I wasn't even allowed to push that many times. I think I pushed twice, but my contractions had slowed down to too far apart where we couldn't get him out. So they had to give me an emergency C-section, which is so unfortunate because I was 10 centimeters dilated. My body was doing what it needed to do, but they couldn't get him out. So they had to rush me in to get him out through a C-section. That is a traumatic experience because, like I said, nobody in my family, immediate family, has gone through that. Because that was the furthest thing from my mind that I would go through. Like, I was prepared for everything for a natural birth. And that's not the case. That's not what happened. My body was numb from here down. From here down, I felt like I was going to throw up. You're in these bright white lights, you're staring up at the ceiling. Doctors are moving all around you, telling you it's going to be okay. My fiance is outside, they're not letting him in until I'm fully prepped. I'm shaking, I'm trembling, I'm scared because this wasn't supposed to go this way. But at the end of the day, he arrived safely and healthy, and at the end of the day, that's all that matters. No matter how I anticipated my experience to go, the point is that he's here safely. Thank God for him coming early and safe, but still safe, because I needed that. After that, we'll talk a little bit about postpartum, another thing that's kind of stripped me away from being able to do some of the things that I've wanted to do, like be back on YouTube. My son, although very healthy, was a very colicky baby. Like I said, he's going to be 4 months next week. He's 3 months currently. The first 2 to 3 weeks were kind of simple, you know? They say what they say. Babies eat, sleep, poop, and that's it. But he would spit up a lot. But between 3 weeks and 9 weeks was the hardest parts for my son. He was colicky, he was gassy. If you've ever had a colicky baby who just can't find comfort and they're just screaming nonstop all day, nonstop, especially from the hours of 1 to 4 a.m., he would just scream. We would be walking up and down the hallways in my apartment and all around the apartment, just trying to calm him down, trying to give him relief, trying all these different probiotics, these different gas drops and everything that the doctor was recommending us. With colic babies, you just kind of have to let it pass on their own. We actually took him to the hospital at one point because he was throwing up so much. We were concerned. Like, we were literally concerned that there was something wrong. Maybe something that the hospital may have missed, something wrong with, like, you know, anything in his stomach where it just doesn't allow him to keep food down. Luckily, he came back fine. And like they said, it's just something that had to pass. I've never had the baby who slept through the night. Never. Till this day, he doesn't sleep through the night, but his sleeping has gotten a lot better. So my maternity leave, I couldn't even imagine how women are expected to do this in 6 weeks, because I could not imagine going back to work at that 6-week mark. I can't even really fathom going back to work in a month. Like I said, every baby is different, but for my situation, it's been really tough. We're finally getting our footing down, finally getting a hang of the baby thing. He is sleeping, wakes up once in the middle of the night at 3:30, 4 o'clock every day, like clockwork. That's my son. He does not sleep through the night, but we are slowly starting to figure things out. With all that said, I'm finally able to get back on camera. Bear with me as I do this, because like I said, it's been a while and I'm trying to adjust. And the big news, like I mentioned, we're moving. We're supposed to be moving in 2 weeks. Intermittently, we're homeless for about 10 or so days, but that can get pushed out even further. I don't know. So I don't know what we're gonna do about our living situation, because we were supposed to be leaving here on the 15th of September. Today's the 1st. So it's supposed to be 15 days. The apartment's not packed up, and we just got a call that the apartment that we're moving in is new construction, and with new construction, things happen. So they have failed inspection. But I'm so excited because even though we can't move in right away, even though we're going to be intermittently homeless, it gives me everything that I need, gives us as a family everything we need. My son will have his own room. I will finally get an office / filming space, and then my fiance and I will have our own bedroom as well. So we're just excited. So I have a lot of videos. So what I need you guys to do is comment down below what videos you guys are interested most in seeing. I got a whole bunch of videos that I want to show you guys. So I have been living in a 1-bedroom with my son. So the goal of that was to film a video about living in a 1-bedroom, a shared space, a shared nursery with a 1-bedroom, and how I kind of made that fit together. For those of you who don't follow me on Instagram, I have given sneak peeks. I have some on my TikTok as well, but I do want to show you guys how I've maximized this space for my fiance and my son, and how we've been able to work in this space for the last 3-ish months. You know, it works. I do love kind of how it came out for what we have, but I'm so glad that he gets his own space. So I'm so glad to do a nursery video when we move. I have the ideas in the dome, you guys, for his space. I also have so many great ideas for my loft office. A dedicated YouTube filming spot is also something that is so necessary for me, because I can't set up my equipment like I used to. My son takes his naps in here, so me filming in my space and what I'm used to, I wasn't able to do, because this is now really his space and we just sleep here. Yes, so the videos I have planned: a 1-bedroom shared nursery. Also, we have to pack up this place and leave. Like I said, been here for 8 years. I don't even know where to begin packing wise, but I do have some tricks up my sleeve, and I want to give you guys some packing tips. I've been a renter channel for a while now. I'm still going to be a renter, so we're going to do some tips on how to pack up and move the best way. I am moving a very short distance, so this isn't going to be moving across the country packing. This is just going to be some tips that I have just to kind of run and go, get things from one place to the next. Like I said, we're intermittently homeless, so we're gonna have to pack up, move to a storage unit, and then pack this from the storage unit eventually to the apartment. Oh, whenever that is. I also want to do an empty apartment tour. I just saw my apartment yesterday for the first time. I'm so excited. It is 2 floors. Well, 1 floor with a loft, but the 2nd floor is the loft. And yes, I have ideas, okay? And bedroom ideas. I want to switch around this aesthetic. So yeah, and this wall. I have so many. If you guys have watched my previous videos on my apartment renter update, I'll link some up here. I've changed faucets, lighting, painted walls black. All of that has to go back to what it was originally. So hopefully I can kind of put that in the packing video. So I said 1-bedroom nursery, packing up for moving, new apartment tour. I've been shopping on Amazon like crazy, you guys. I have so many things that I want to show you guys. So I've kind of wanted to do like a is it worth it from Amazon, because you know I'm your guinea pig. I'll test it out, I'll let you know. So yeah, I have so many things for Amazon. So obviously another Amazon favorites video. I have new tech in here, especially with a baby. I want to do baby nursery tech stuff which you can use for your nursery for babies. One thing I love, and I'm gonna give a little sneak peek right now, a little hinty hint, my IKEA smart blinds, blackout, the best thing hands down that I've purchased since my son's been here. Well, no, he has a lot of stuff, a lot of tech, but we'll do that in another video. So it'll be like nursery tech, baby tech, whatever. You can obviously use it for other things, so don't skip that video just because you don't have a child or anything. There will be some good things in there, I promise you. And I am always a crafter at heart. I purchased a Glowforge Aura. She was not cheap. Essentially, a Glowforge Aura is a diode laser cutting machine. A diode that cuts thicker materials than my Cricut does, cuts wood, acrylic, paper as well. It engraves on leather, you know, cutting boards, whatever. I want to show you guys my first thoughts on that purchase. I've used it for a little bit. I've made a few projects. I can't wait to show you guys. So yeah, stay tuned. If you guys have any other videos that you definitely want to see, let me know. But if you have a video that you're more interested in, comment that I've mentioned already, comment that below, and I'll kind of organize them in a way. But like I said, bear with me. I am moving in a very short amount of time. So I'm gonna try and get them out as much as I can. The next video should be the 1-bedroom shared nursery tour. All right. Wow, it's been a while since I've done this, but I had fun. Little tears, a little emotional, for sure. I want to get back because I miss this. This felt good. It felt therapeutic. And I needed this. I appreciate you guys, and I'll catch you guys in my next one. Peace.